The reason why you take screenshots is because you're going to see certain patterns, certain things that you can actually do much better. I see a lot of new traders skip this part or... Yes. Today we are going to talk about how to journal like a pro. Trust me, you are going to love this one. Now, why do you want to journal? Okay. And this is actually a very good question because for some reason I see a lot of new traders skip this part or don't even look at journaling. Because, like, for example, I have a program and I can look at, the progress when it comes to my students. And I noticed that a lot of people don't even look at the journal section a lot. All they want to do is look at the strategies, look at, the best time to trade, whatever the case is. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm telling you right now, guys, the journal part is probably going to be, if I had to grade it, it's probably the most important part when it comes to trading because it's going to show you patterns, okay? And these patterns are going to help you troubleshoot because I'm telling you right now, you are going to have roadblocks or you are going to have problems in your trading. It's not going to be smooth at first, okay? Now, when you have these bumps, what you can do is you can write them down. And when you write them down in your journal, okay, you're going to start to see patterns. You're like, oh, I'm noticing every time I trade at this time, this happens. Or if I do this, that happens, right? And that's what we want when it comes to having a journal. We want to see what's going on so we can troubleshoot that and we can actually become a better trader. Now, let's talk about how to journal, okay? Because a lot of you guys, really don't like to journal. So let's keep it as simple as possible. I want you to get your feet wet when it comes to journaling, okay? So start with 3 sentences, okay? That's all. When you first journal, start with 3 sentences because that's going to help you get in the habit of just journaling, okay? And writing down what happened. Now, the first thing you can do is talk about why you took the trade. The next thing you can write down is how you felt that day. And the third thing you can write down is the problems, okay? The problems that you had or you have to work on tomorrow, okay? So the reason why you want to write down the problems that you have to work on tomorrow is because that's going to be your goal tomorrow. So let's say, for example, you notice, man, today I was sloppy. I chased a couple of trades. I was, not really focusing on just trading. I was distracted. Whatever the case is, you write down that problem. And guess what? Tomorrow, okay, you're going to have that problem right in front of you. Please make sure you have it right in front of your desk. Put it on a sticky note. I don't care what it is, okay? Have it right in front of you. Your goal for that day, which is tomorrow, right, is to only focus on those problems. Okay. For the most part, you really want to maybe focus on 1 or 2 problems at a time. Okay. So let's say that, you were chasing the market yesterday. All right. So today you want to not chase the market. That's your main goal. So if you keep doing this every single week, guys, trust me, it's like almost impossible not to become a better trader. Now, the next thing you want to do when it comes to the journal is you want to take screenshots. Okay. You have to do this. Just journaling by itself, it's not going to work. So you take screenshots. The reason why you take screenshots is because you're going to see certain patterns, certain things that you can actually do much better. We're going to talk about that later. Okay, it's just definitely going to help you to go actually much deeper when it comes to journaling. Now, once you get comfortable with the journaling process, writing down, 3 sentences, now you can actually graduate and go a little bit deeper. Okay, so the second stage is what you want to do is start tagging your trades. Okay, so you're going to have to name your trades. You can name it anything. Okay, or you just basically say what it is. Okay, so for example, let's say I took an inverse head and shoulders today, okay? I'm gonna label this trade an inverse head and shoulder trade, okay? Let's say tomorrow you took a supply and demand trade at resistance, right? So you're gonna label that, or you can call it a different name, whatever you wanna do. And you wanna tag this. Now, the reason why you wanna tag it is because you want to go back to your trades and look at it. Because what's gonna happen, you're gonna start to see patterns and you're gonna see what are you good at. You might realize, wow, I'm only really good at, taking breakouts, or I'm only really good at taking reversals at supply and demand. Whatever the case is, guys, this data is going to show you that. And then what you can do is you can take it a step further, right? You can go a little bit deeper, is not only look at the setup, you look at how you enter the market. So let's say, for example, you're trading an inverse head and shoulders, right? And it pulled back to your key level and you took the trade. Well, what made you get in the trade? Was it a double bottom? Was it, one candlestick, one bullish candlestick? Was it volume? Was it time and sales? Whatever the case is, you want to mark that down, because even with that, you're going to start to see, oh, wow, every time I wait for a little bit more confirmation, maybe a double bottom, my percentage goes up even higher. So these are the things that you are going to see when you are journaling and taking screenshots. This is why it's very important, guys. Most people think that becoming a professional trader is having a certain strategy. No, guys. A certain strategy doesn't make you a professional trader. What makes you a professional trader, guys, is having a very specific strategy and a very specific journal process, or a very specific journal strategy. If you have those two things, guys, trust me, that's going to make you a professional trader. Now, let's talk about other things you can do with the journal, because I'm just trying to, get you guys started. And you can, when it comes to journaling, guys, I told you guys, I'm telling you how to journal like a pro. You can go even deeper. So let's go even deeper. Now, one thing you can do, okay, is you can actually track your time when it comes to your winners and losers, okay? And what's going to happen is you're going to realize, wow, I realized, at 12 o'clock, I'm losing, 90% of the time. Maybe because it's lunchtime, right? But if you wasn't tracking that, how would you know that stat? You wouldn't know that, right? So you have to understand, tracking the time will help you a lot, because it might show you, oh, I can't trade after 2 p.m. or I can't trade after 12 p.m. because it's messing up my strategy. You can actually turn a profitable strategy into an unprofitable strategy just by trading at a certain time, okay? You might think, oh man, I have a losing strategy, but it just might be you trading, at the wrong time. So I remember with me, 90% of the time, I was losing when I took my first trade, okay? And that was like, like right after 9:30, okay? And I noticed like, man, why I'm losing like 90% of the time? And I realized, okay, either I was chasing or I was just doing, silly things, trading at the open, right? So I noticed, okay, I can't trade 9:30 right at the open, okay? It doesn't work for me. Yes, it might work for a couple of other people, but from my experience, most people can't really trade at 9:30 as soon as the market open. I realized I can't do that. All right, let me just wait a little bit more and then I attack. Okay, now some days I do trade right at the open, but it has to be a very specific strategy, okay? And this comes from tracking, guys. You have to track. Now, the next thing you can do to actually journal like a pro is figure out how far the market actually goes against you every single time you go and take a trade, okay? Because some of you guys have big stop losses, right? You might have a big stop loss, but if you backtest and realize, you know what, the market is not really going against me a lot every single time. Maybe 20 or 15% of the time it go against me a lot of times, but 80% of the time it really doesn't go a lot. So guess what? You can actually have a smaller stop loss or a tighter stop loss just by understanding that, okay? So you can track that. The next thing you can do to actually journal like a pro is you can actually figure out how you can make more money from your winners. And this is going back to looking at your screenshots, looking at, how the market was acting that day, okay? For example, with me, I know for a fact when it comes to runners, reversals work really good, okay? So I usually hold a little bit more when it comes to, winners, if it's a reversal day, right? So by tracking your winners, right, you can see how you can actually make more money. And you can only do this by journaling, guys, right? And taking screenshots. That's it. You can't just do it by trading every single day. No, guys. So this is why it's very important to track your trading and journal. So figuring out how you can actually make money or more money with your winners, right, is a good thing. And it's another way you can actually journal like a pro. Now, another thing you can do that can help you journal like a pro is track how you felt before you take the trade, not after the trade, before you take the trade. Were you excited? Were you mad? Were you, nervous? Because I realized, because I tracked this before, I realized every time I'm excited to take a trade, I'm losing at least 90 to 95% of the time. I don't know what it is, but if I'm too excited, I'm like, oh man, this trade is definitely going to work. I don't know what it is, but I'm losing 90 to 95% of the time. But when I'm looking at a trade, I'm like, this is a good trade. It's part of my setup. But I'm like, it might work. It might not work. For some reason, those trades work like most of the time. So track how you felt, right, before you take the trade, because you're going to start to realize, wow, if I'm too excited, maybe I shouldn't be taking that trade. Now, the next thing you do is only study your winners, right? Now, what's going to happen is if you only study your winners, you're going to realize, wow, for some reason, I'm very good at trading the news, or I'm very good at trading this setup, very good at trading this. And that is going to help you focus on what you are good at, because a lot of people don't focus on what they are good at, okay? They actually do the opposite. So actually focusing on what you are good at is a good thing, because it's going to help you trade much better and much calmer, and you're going to have more confidence, okay? right now, I'm to the point where I don't even care if I don't trade every single day. Okay. And you should be the same, because you want to be picky. You want to say, all right, that's not my setup. I'm not really good at that. This day, I'm not trading. And that's where your journal comes in play. Okay. Your journal is going to show you all that. Now, the next thing you want to track is your losers, right? Only your losers. Track your losers, trying to figure out why you are losing. Now, two things with your losers. It could be that the way you are trading, okay, it could, it's probably something wrong with the strategy, or it can be something that you need to fix, right? So if it's the strategy, if it doesn't work, get rid of that. Okay. Now, if it's something that you can fix, maybe you can keep the strategy and, just tweak it a little bit. So for example, let's say, you're looking at a strategy and you're seeing that every time I'm losing, right, I'm trading right at resistance. So I'm buying right at resistance and I'm losing, 90% of the time. If you notice that, guys, get rid of that right away. If you're losing 90% of the time, every single time you're taking that trade, most likely that trade is not going to work. Now, let's give you another example, okay? Let's say that you're looking at supply and demand trade, right? And every time you're taking that supply and demand trade, you're losing 60% of the time. Okay. Now you're looking at your loser and you're trying to say, okay, why I'm losing? Why I'm losing? Because that's very important, guys. You have to look at it. Why you're losing. And then you figure out, okay, I'm losing because I'm not looking for confirmation. I'm just getting in every time, the market comes to my demand level, my supply level. I'm just getting in. Maybe I should look for a little bit more confirmation. Okay, so that's the difference between actually keeping a strategy and not throwing away a strategy. So if you know that the supply and demand strategy works, all you have to do is tweak it and look for a little bit more confirmation, then you keep it. Okay, you only throw away the trades that you know for a fact it's not going to work. No matter how you tweak it, it's not going to work. So those are things, guys, you can do with your journal, right? So you can go really deep and journal like a pro, because some of you guys are not really doing this the right way, or some of you guys are skipping, the journal process. I suggest you review your journal every single week and make sure that you tackle the problems that you have every single day, right? Make sure it is in front of you so you can actually become a profitable trader. Listen, if you are not journaling right now and you are not a profitable trader, you're not doing really good with your trading right now, plus you're not journaling, guess what? You don't have the right to complain at all. Let me say that again. You don't have the right to complain if you're not journaling, and especially if you're not a profitable trader. I don't want to hear it. Oh, why me? The markets keep on trapping me. This happened. I'm losing a lot of money. I just blew up my account. That. Guys, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Save that and, talk to your friend or whatever. I don't want to hear it, guys. You do not have the right to complain if you are not journaling. That's how important journaling is. So guys, step up your game. Let's journal and let's do it the right way. Okay. Now, if you want to understand why I take one trade a day, make sure you look at this right here. Okay. Because this video will show you why I take one trade a day, why I'm so picky, and the time I'm looking at my trades.